There's a line in one of my favorite songs right now, where Waymaker, it says, "Even when I don't see it, you're working." So it's a rainy Saturday right now, and something just kind of came over me. Like, this week's been kind of an interesting little story I want to share that I experienced. That kind of, you know, is like a testimony to the fact that God works when we don't see Him working. And sometimes the seeds He plants, they take years, but it means they take strong root. So when I was a teenager, I attended a Baptist church years and years ago, and there was a gentleman there who ran Bible studies that I used to go to. And then, as time went on, I kind of lost touch with. I left that church and kind of grew up and did my own thing. And over a period of about 10 or 15 years, went through some times where I kind of questioned my faith and lost my way a little bit. And but I never forgot some of the lessons that I learned in those Bible studies that were run by this gentleman his name was Bob. And I also played softball with him when I was going to that church. And he, always had a smile on his face. He always encouraged me, and I always thought to myself, man, now here's a great guy. Like, he's such a good man of God. He's somebody I aspire to be. And of course, I lost touch with him. I hadn't seen him in years, and now recently, about fast forward to, let's say, 2022, post-pandemic, I started coming back to church, and I went to a different church. And now that I'm more committed to my faith and kind of renewed things with my walk with the Lord, I've been more involved with my church. And a gentleman and one of the deacons in my church reached out to me last week and said, some guys are coming over. We're going to grab some coffee and have a little prayer meeting. And then after that, we're kind of splitting up and we're going to help some people in the church. Does that sound like something you want to do? And I said, sure. And we met up, and he said, well, we're going to go over to somebody in our church's, it's a widow whose husband passed away in 2020, and we go over there and do some yard work and help lighten the load for her. And I said, oh, that sounds wonderful. So we show up to the house. It was Bob's wife. Bob passed away in 2020, and I got to share with her how he planted seeds in my life that I never forgot, and it made her day. And she gave me a hug, and we shared some stories about Bob. And then today, this Saturday, I went to a men's breakfast at our church, and the men's breakfast was led by Bob's nephew, and he shared some stories about Bob. So God has really been using those seeds that were planted probably 30 years ago, and they're starting to spring to life. So on a rainy day like today, sometimes it's easy to just see the rain, but we forget that we need the rain for the flowers to grow. And the best, strongest plants have the best roots, and those roots take time to germinate, so to speak. So I just wanted to encourage somebody. If you're you feel like you're trying to witness to someone, or reach out to someone, or share a testimony to someone, and you feel like it's falling on deaf ears, sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes it just takes a long time for those seeds to take root. But just know that if God is leading you to speak to someone, or share a testimony, or speak life into someone's walk or the moment that they're in, you should always follow that lead, because it can never, will never do harm to share the gospel and share your faith with somebody. And as long as you are faithful and you're praying about it, God will loosen that soil, break the soil, and plant those seeds. And we just may not see it for a longer period of time, but just have faith and know that even when we don't see it, God is working. Amen. God bless.